Hey mates, Paul.K.Dragon here, and welcome to my first video game review called The Game Vault, a series where I'll be making video game reviews from my past and probably future titles. With that being said, let's start off with one of my favorite first-person shooters, Turok Dinosaur Hunter. Oh, Turok Dinosaur Hunter, I remember when I was in preschool, I rented this game at my local video store on a weekend years ago. And boy, did it not disappoint. I had the time of my life playing this game. The enemies you face, the weapons you can wield, the cheats I remember that turn your enemies into chipmunks screaming, "Pixies!" Oh god, I love this game. And years later, when this game was up for sale at a cheap price, I was happy to grab this along with Killer Instinct Gold. The memories. For this review, I'll be looking at the remastered version that was released on Steam a few weeks ago. But, how did this game begin? Well, it wasn't a game to begin with, but Turok originally appeared in comics from a Western publishing in Dell Comics in December 1954. Valiant Comics revived the series and published the first issue of their Turok series in 1993. Video game publisher Acclaim Entertainment bought Valiant for $65 million in 1994 and acquired developer Iguana Entertainment for $5 million plus stock a year later. Part of the strategy to develop games in-house to make money licensing characters in different entertainment media. Turok was announced in August 1994 as an exclusive title for Nintendo's planned Ultra 64 console, eventually called the Nintendo 64. The player assumes control of Tao Set, a Turok, a Native American time-traveling warrior. The mantle of Turok is passed down every generation to the eldest male. Each Turok is charged to protecting the barrier between Earth and the Lost Land, a primitive world where time has no meaning and is inhabited by a variety of creatures from dinosaurs to aliens. An evil overlord known as the Campaigner seeks an ancient artifact known as the the Chrono Scepter. That's better. A weapon so powerful that it has broken into 8 pieces to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. The campaigner plans on using a focusing array to magnify the Chrono Scepter's power, destroying the barriers that separate the ages of time and rule the universe. Turok vows to find the Chrono Scepter's 8 pieces and prevent the campaigner's schemes. Like the story, there are 8 Chrono Scepter pieces throughout the 8 levels. You can pick them up, it's optional. But, as well as the Chrono Scepter pieces, there are also level keys throughout the levels. Collect 3 of the same type of key and you unlock that level. But I find it kind of amusing to see Turok holding up a key like he's the hero of time or something. Other than the keys to find, there are also 13 types of weapons to wield, including a knife you start off with, which is perfect for those pesky giant dung beetles and those melee attackers. A bow that can fire normal and tech arrows that explode. Pistols, which later on entirely replaced with assault rifle that fires a 3-round burst. A shotgun that can fire normal and explosive pellets. This gets replaced with an automatic shotgun later on. A chain gun that consumes a lot of ammo very quickly. A grenade launcher. An alien weapon which didn't really help me much throughout my adventure. A pulse rifle, which allows you to fire energy blasts, and is actually one of my favorite energy weapons. A quad rocket launcher that fires 4 rockets instead of 1. A freezer gun, which takes time to charge, but the enemy will freeze in place and completely shatter. The fusion cannon, which I like to call the Big Bang. And it definitely shows. And finally, the Chrono Scepter. When charged up and released, it creates a massive blue explosion like an atomic bomb. And it can really hurt the final boss. Enemies comes in all shapes and sizes, like the hunters, other tribesmen, dinosaurs, piranha plants, and raptors that shoot laser beams. There are only 4 bosses in this game. The headhunter, which in his first phase tries to run you over with an RV, and if you dodge them, you can easily pick off the RVs one at a time as they drive around you over and over again in a loop. The mantis, that likes to spit acid, breaks walls, and release little pebbles that explode on you. A mechanical T-Rex that shoots lasers and breathes fire on you. And finally, the campaigner, which can fire multiple missiles at you, teleport around, and hit you with his mace. But the campaigner is a complete cakewalk when you use the Chrono Scepter. There are 8 levels in total. The hub world, which takes a while before you can get to the area where you can actually select a level. The jungle, the ancient city, the ruins, the catacombs, the treetop village, the lost lands, and finally the final confrontation. And these levels are long! And it's very easy to get lost most of the time. You will be relying on your map, which can make your journey a lot more comfortable, and it makes it easier to find areas which you haven't explored yet. There are save points and checkpoints in case you lose a life, and there are tokens throughout the levels. Collect 100 of them, you get an extra life. However though, are the lives really necessary? I mean, you have checkpoints and save points which you can practically respawn from, which I wish there were more than less, concerning how long the levels are, but are the lives really necessary? What really sells me on the game is the soundtrack. I can't get over on how much I love the Ruins theme, and the water theme is always calming to listen to. If you're planning on getting this game for the classic Nintendo 64, be warned, you need a controller pack. Without that, you cannot save your game. This is a fantastic game, from beginning to end, with loads of weapons to shoot, enemies to destroy, things to collect, and a rocking soundtrack to back it up. This game left me with so many fun memories. I wish the levels had a lot more save points and checkpoints, or the developers could shorten the levels a bit, that way they won't be so long. The game is also remastered and released on Steam for $16. Sure, it's a bit pricey, but it's still fun to play, and I highly recommend you picking up this classic. I give it a 10 out of 10. It is a fantastic game. This is Paul.K.Dragon, and I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year.